mad, cause they watching from the bleacher. Do it solo, YOLO, bitch, I don't need no feature. And she get hands, bitch, it ain't nice to meet ya. Crawling on the beat, and I'm creeping like a creature. Ain't no suggestion, listen, cozy, I can teach ya. The block booming, so I'ma have to meet ya. Niggas getting cozy, presses keys like Alicia. Had a boom with me, was looking like a reacher. Bad, all these haters mad, I see haters sad. You been in your purse, I been in my bag. These ain't real receipts, bitch, I been popping tags. Yeah, I been on the leash, capiche, bad. All these haters mad, I see haters sad. You been in your purse, I been in my bag. These ain't real receipts, bitch, I been popping tags. Yeah, I been on the leash, capiche. You win a race, you can't win. Blue shell turtle, the place that I'm in. What's worse, the head of the chin? What's first, the egg of the hand? What's first, the little win? What's worse, the feet of the do? What's worse, the hearts of the killer? I'm a honey in the chinchilla. Bustin' out the keys like a red at your back. I'm feeling like a killer. Child just like smack. So I'm bitch, I don't matter. Tell my family get hit up. Well, this ass like a churro. Do your thing, though. I don't wanna do a thing. Pull up in all black rain. I'm the big old bang. Ass me right now, right?
Oh, fucking that bitch in the bed. Yeah, fucking that bitch on my bed. Fucking that bitch in the law. Hold up, little bitch got law. Fucking that bitch with no cost. Y'all try to hit me a ball. Lil' on car with rain. Try to blow his brain. Oh, baby, you get brain. Then I make it brain. On the feet, get brain. Let's be way that way. Hold on, go that way. Hold me, what you say? Hold up, pull up. All these niggas throwing 2900. Hold up. All these niggas talking 2900. Hold up. What the fuck was you, young nigga? Hold up. We was shooting up the niggas like photo. Hold up. Ride down the night, getting 9, Jing number 9, riding down the summertime. Shot fire, body drop,
Back it up, is it fat enough? When I throw it back, is it fast enough? If I speed it up, think you handle that? You ain't ready for this work now. Watch me throw it back, throw it back, throw it back, throw it back.
Put it back.
Can you make some time for me? Tell your friends that tonight you won't be free. You see I'm feeling a little down, and you're something familiar. So won't you make some time for me? You can come over when you can. We can drink, we can pop, let's make a plan. I ain't asking to be your wifey thing. I'm not trying to hold you or beg a ring, no. But like tonight, can you be my man? Yeah. So come on, make your way to me. I'll even wear that thing you like to see. A good night is a guarantee. So come on, bring yourself to me. I ain't too proud to beg. I'm desiccated and in distress, and it should be a crime, 'cause my torment's overfed. Can you release me? Come on, pacify my needs. Unruffle this energy. Won't you make some time? Come on, make some time. Won't you make some time? Can't you make some time? Can you make some time? Won't you make some time? Can you make some time? what you say to me. Tell your homeboy that I don't do threes. I'm just feeling a little lonely, and you are that somebody tell me out. So can you make some time for me?
Welcome to another episode of OG Radio, the radio station for our generation. It's your girl, Mishon
and CJ.
And today, we are coming to you live today with another exclusive episode. We got a special guest.
Yes, we do.
I want to get into some today, but before I get into some, I'm going to ask CJ. CJ, how was your weekend?
Weekend was immaculate. Got some rest. Got some shit done. That's about it, though, for me.
Immaculate. That's what makes it immaculate. Getting some rest, getting some work, some peace of mind.
Yes, I'm just always on the go, always on the grind. I got a lot of shit in the fire right now, so resting was definitely I've been with 8 days straight, 12-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts. Rest. And I got another period coming up of that again, so rest. Took advantage of it.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, happy International Women's Day.
Yes, thank you for saying that. You don't want me to say it. You want to hear it from a man. You want a man to say happy International Women's Day because it's that day that we get that recognition. I mean, that day to me is every day, but it's good to just get that recognition for that one day. Yeah. Happy International Women's Day.
And ladies, tune out the men that's like, oh, what about International Men's Day? Just tune those niggas out for the day. If they just let them know it's November 19th. I'm pretty sure they don't know. They just saying that just to say it. But if they didn't know that,
yeah. And I feel like, if you're not doing anything today, you should just dedicate a little bit of time, a chunk of your time to devote it to self-love, pampering yourself, females, males listening, pamper it, for your, that special lady in your life, whether that may be your mother, your sister, your girlfriend. Dedicate it to that lady.
Most definitely.
Take some time. Devote some time. And speaking of that, I feel as though, ladies, y'all need to start treating y'all female friends a little bit better.
Ooh.
I got some shit to say today. Excuse my language. I'm feeling a little heated today about the weekend that just happened. Because I can't believe that I expected to take a trip with my female friends and expect my friends to empathize with me for the shit that I be going through. And apparently I can't even expect that out of my own friends, because it's like everyone wants shit from me, but whenever I just be wanting to be peacefully alone or peacefully just to myself, y'all just sucking the shit out of me, y'all draining energy from me. And then you cry and you boo-hoo and this and that when you don't get your way. And that's just not, this is not the move, okay?
Just, get it all out.
No, because this is the thing. You females that are older than me, acting younger than me, that shit don't make no sense. Okay, we graduated high school.
Getting too direct. Let's reel it back in. So the main thing, and let's get it all right.
Look, grow up, women. In order to be a woman, you gotta grow up and act like a woman.
Just don't give your energy to those type of people.
Man, it's hard because these people are supposedly the people that are closest to you. So it's just hard a little bit, you know.
Well, I don't think that's a good way to start off International Women's Day or the month, but
you know, and I agree. But the unfortunate fact about it is, me, Mishon, I don't have control over women, and that's not unfortunate. That's the best part about it. So I choose not to do too much over women that I don't have control over, because you know that's every woman in that case. But what I will say is, y'all not about to drain my energy.
protect your peace.
Okay, stop hitting me up, because I'm not about to kiss your ass. And that's just on everything. I'm not about to kiss your ass. I'm about to tell you about you. If you don't like it, bye. To the left, to the left.
Main thing is protect your peace, protect your peace. We got a special guest today. He's going to tell us all about himself and what he does, especially for our generation. Right back from a word from our sponsors.
Yes. Right.
Hi, I'm Virginia Sudan, and we're Sankofa Financial Group. We're a family-owned CPA firm providing tax planning and wealth management services. Our business is family-friendly, and we can't wait to meet you and your family. So check us out at www.sankofafinancial.net.
Seem like the life I feed. Seems like the life I feel is a little distant, yeah. Seems like the life I need. Seems like the life I need is a little distant, yeah. Like the remedy, yeah. Sit back while I rock the beat. Do it on repeat. Sense controlling me, yeah. Angels halos over me. I need blessings in my peace. You been out the streets, yeah. Ballin', I'm in on my G's. We been going for a week. Now you wanna peek, yeah. Hands up while they tryna reach. I can't even get that deep. Told you I don't teach, yeah. Practice, oh no, never preach. Practice, oh no, never preach. Infiltrate the enemy, moving on them randomly. Feels like the life I need's a little distant, yeah. Feels like the life I need, yeah. Feels like the life I need's a little distant, yeah.
Don't never stop. It's the flow that got the block hot. She consume hot. Give me my respect. I just took it left like on ambidex. Time through London with the Euro steps. Got a sneaker deal and I ain't break a sweat. Catch me cause I'm gone. Out of them, gone. I go from 6 to 23 like I'm LeBron. Serving up a pack. Serving up a pack. Niggas pulling gimmicks cause they scared to rap. Funny how they shook. Pulling back the curtain by myself, take a look. Ayy, I'm a bar spitter. I'm a hard. Yeah, I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dark nigga. I'm a wig splitter. I'm a tall figure. I'm an unforgiving wild ass dog nigga. Something wrong. Got 'em all bitter. I'm a bill printer. I'm a grave digger. Yeah, I am what I am. I don't have no time for no misunderstandings again. Future took the business and ran it for me. I let Ali take the aisle, told him brand it for me. I get 20 in a pop and that stand it for me. Like I went blind, dog, you gotta hand it to me. Got it. I prayed, then I prayed again. Had a moment, but it came and went. Y'all don't wanna play with him. Every morning you like 8 a.m. Pinky ring till I get a better ring. Talking to myself. My brothers cut them in on anything. When I see it, and you know it's king slime, it's damn. We are always running for the thrill of it. Always pushing up the hill, searching for the thrill of it. All that on, we are calling out, not again. Never looking What's up with my little bro? Good.
I'm on a block, with stick up in my jeans, I got too much this in the car. Don't ask me what I sing, cause I ain't telling shit that's bar. Don't act like you a G, cause my OG might pull your car. That rap monoscope is 32 and AR. One stick up in my jeans, I got too much this in the car. Don't ask me what I sing, cause I ain't telling shit that's bar. Don't act like you a G, cause my OG might pull your car. That rap monoscope is 32. I ran it up, I got it back. I'm in the front, my shooters in the back. Don't ask me where I be, cause I be where you can't be at. Bro started with a Glock, he upped it to a Mac. Boy, hop back on that push, we know you rich, don't need a chat. You say that you the plug, but make no profit with that. Start calling me your man, I give everybody that. I got a 40 on me, let it sit like Marvin Sapp. Say, yeah. Cause I still pulling in my spider, then I fade away. I ain't paying the plug no more, the shit and lay away. I got it in it, tell mama I be late today. Bo got a Drake, I might slide with a K today. Ooh, what you mean?
Told you I love ya. Would you make me say it twice? If I told you I need ya every day of my life, would you stay a little longer? Would you answer when I call ya? Do you mind? Do you mind? 'Cause you've been on my mind, on my mind. No, I don't mean to be a bother. I just gotta know if you really are about me. Just tell me so. If you are, if you're not. If you are, then sure sometime. If I told you I love ya, would you make me say it twice? If I told you I need ya every day of my life, would you stay a little longer? Would you answer when I call? Do you mind? Do you mind? 'Cause you've been on my mind, on my mind. I was aiming for the moon until I saw only shine this light for you. I standing up over heavy days of blue. The only variable is you. So if I told you I love ya, would you make me say it twice? If I told you I need ya every day of my life.
I wonder why all these niggas feel. Yeah, I wonder why all these niggas is. Yeah, why these niggas act like I'm a buzz. Bitch gon' call your mama, use a puss. Hey, and if you bring them niggas, please don't buzz. Hey, cause I might fucking kill them if they push. Hey, ain't got shit to lose, bitch, so try. Hey, my niggas act a fool when they high. Hey, yo, niggas scared to move when it's time. Hey, Hey, niggas act abused, they be crying. Hey, I wish I could too, but I'm fine. Hey, I been chasing loot, ain't got time. Hey, he think that bitch new, well I'm down. He think that sound new, but that's mine. See these niggas lately, they look sick. Hey, boy, put down the weed and get a bitch. Shut your toes, nigga. Fuck the post shit. I ain't fucked it. I need more, bitch. Fuck this rap shit, nigga. I want own shit. On my own shit, nigga. On my own shit. Blowing big dough out the end zone, bitch. I've been tenfold. This shit getting old, bitch. Niggas big jokes, you can get smoked, bitch. Don't come near pose. I'm too rich for it, nigga. Shit, it really be your own. Yeah. All like I won't pull up to they home. Yeah. Niggas slime, bitch. So what you on? So them don't get tired, we gon' get it wrong. Only if you knew what your bitch was on. Get that hoe in check, fuck wrong with her dome. Better get a check or leave her alone. You ain't got no bread, we taking her home. Fuck the post shit, I ain't fucked it. I need more, bitch. Fuck this rap shit, nigga. I want own shit. On my own shit, nigga. On my own shit. Blowing big dough out the end zone, bitch. I've been tenfold, this shit getting old, bitch. Niggas big jokes, you can get smoked, bitch. Don't come near pose, I'm too rich for it.
You're the only one for me, only one I need, only one I see. But you steer us in the wrong direction, where my love's always in question. Steer us in the wrong direction, where my love's always in question. Steer myself in the wrong direction, 'cause love's always in question. Steer us in the wrong direction, where my love's always in question. All my hopes and hopes, tell me you feel the same. All my love is yours, all my love is, all my love is. All my hopes and hopes, tell me you feel the same. All my love is yours, all my love is, all my love is. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, she just wants something.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We got our special guest here today. Did you want to introduce yourself?
How y'all doing, everybody? My name is Hugh Holmes Jr. I'm the CEO of Game Shift. We are a new video game development studio right here in PG County, Maryland. If you're trying to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at _HHJR. If you want to follow the brand, you can follow us at We Are Game Shift. That's WEAREGAMESHIFT. I'm also a co-host of the Phase On View podcast.
All right, let's get into it.
Y'all see, we got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today.
Yes.
Definitely.
For sure.
We're going to start with the games, because, you know, I'm into my games, you know what I'm saying? Definitely. Yo, can you hip us about Game Shift? What is Game Shift?
So Game Shift is a video game development company that I founded. It's been on my mind for years, but we became we started in May of 2020, and we've been working on our first game. Right now we're in prototype mode, so you know the goal of that is to get a working prototype to show to investors, so we can get a grant, and also show it to the Xbox ID program. If we get into the Xbox ID program, we'll be able to put the game out on Xbox. I know a lot of folks are upset, like, why is the game not coming out for PlayStation? Listen, it's a whole lot more difficult to put a game out for Sony than you might think. You never know what could happen. Hopefully in the future we can do that, but right now it's just a whole lot easier to put the game out for Xbox.
Is that because they like Japanese owned or not?
Is it Microsoft?
Sony is Japanese,
it's Microsoft, right? For real.
No, so Xbox is Microsoft, and they just have this program that allows. So ID stands for independent developers, which is what we are. And so it's just a platform that allows you to have access to be able to put stuff out for Xbox Live, for the console itself, and if you want to do mobile, you can do it as well, and they help you market it. With Sony is a lot more security involved. You need like certain access codes to put a game out for them. So if we were like a legit studio, which we will be one day, then it probably would go a whole lot smoother.
No, y'all
right
legit
now, it's just
now. Y'all
I mean, with a resume of games, but it's in due time. So, I mean, so GameSip is, so when I was growing up, video games have always been a big part of my life. Favorite video game to this day is Sly Cooper. Depends on which one I'm playing, whether it be 2 or 3. Y'all hip to that? Shout out to y'all, whoever's hip.
Dang, I'm not hip. I want to get hip.
I was gonna say, I know the name, but that wasn't my dream.
That's a classic. And so video games have always been a big part of my life. And in 2009 was like the big shift in video games, because that was when the Batman Arkham Asylum game came out.
Yo, I had that joint, the first one on 360.
Yeah, and that was when like everything changed. Like the industry kind of was like, whoa. And it was like, because it was
the
just
graphics.
I didn't know it was that big of a shift, though. I mean, it was a game to me, but I didn't know.
It was the graphics, the storytelling, the gameplay. I mean, everything you can think of, and it was from an unknown studio that you never heard of. So this game dropped, and then it won. It won so many awards. It was amazing, and I'm a huge Batman fan. So when I played that, that's when I knew I was like, yeah, I want to make these. This is the type of games I want to make. And then it was crazy because in 2011 they dropped Arkham City. And then it was like even bigger shift, because that became the most critically acclaimed. Actually, the first one became the most critically acclaimed video game. That's a world record. And the second one dropped and broke its own record. So it was like a real shift. And so like games today now, like full blown productions, they're just like they're like movies. Yeah. It's amazing how much it has shifted. Now you got games like Cyberpunk that has Keanu Reeves in it. Now you have actors in video games. Now you've got, Stephen A. Smith was promoting the new Miles Morales game. That never happened before.
But the Spider-Man joint is basically just the same thing as Arkham. Like you said, Arkham started that.
So,
they basically just copied the same platform.
There's a lot of games that mimic that style, and so Spider-Man is one of those games. Shout out to Insomniac. They created the Spider-Man games, but to see Stephen A. promoting a video game is crazy. Now you have video games that are becoming shows. Like The Last of Us is working on an HBO show. That's one of the best games ever. The Witcher has its own show. Before it was like, major movies would come out, be it like maybe Transformers or Shrek. And then after that, the video game would follow. There's Shrek the game. There's Transformers the game. Now it's like a whole different thing. Now they're taking the video games and they're like movies themselves, or they're making movies based off the games. And so I want to do that. And so, after I went to Becker College, which is in Massachusetts. Okay. At the time, it was number 5 in the world for best video game school.
So you've been practicing this craft then?
Yeah. Okay. And recently, it's number 2. Right now, they're going through some troubled times. Right now, the COVID might take them out. Unfortunately, my school may not exist anymore. Hopefully, that's not the case. But so I went there, and once I got out, I really, I spent like 3 years just trying to find like-minded people to be a part of my team, to help me develop the game that we're developing. And February of May is when I finally found the first batch of folks, and then we started in May, and we've grown since then. And shout out to my friend Tay. I don't know if he's listening, but he actually came up with the name GameSip, because I was trying, when I was younger, I wanted to call it graphics, and that was but I got older, I was like, that's just not it. And so I was like, I gotta find something. And so hit the group chat, I was like, yo, y'all got any suggestions? Just throw them out. And I wanted something that had the word game in it, and he threw that out, and I was like, that's it. And so here we are, man. That's kind of the story about how that came about. It's definitely sweet.
I want to know how the pandemic, because you said you launched the whole brand within this last year.
Oh yeah, so
how the pandemic affected your brand in coming out with it.
Yeah, that's been a major thing. Like, for a lot of brands, like, you'd be surprised. Literally, I think like almost all the businesses that we've had on the show, they've all started or kick launched in 2020. Yeah. So that's a thing. Like, you definitely gotta hear how you did that.
So initially, my goal was, because I got the first 8 folks from this school called Capital Tech University, and so. My goal was this, in the summertime, because it was like May, in the summertime, we'll just link in the evenings and we'll work, in that space. but then COVID hit in like March. So everything we did had to be virtual. So we've been working through Discord. We do video meetings every day, and it's been working virtually. And so that's how the pandemic affected that. And then, later on, when we expanded and got more folks, it's amazing. I mean, at this point, we're kind of like, if we had a Samoan on our team, we probably would be the cast of Fast and Furious at this point, because I mean, I've got a guy from Vietnam who's currently in Vietnam right now. He went back home. He's still working with us. I got a guy from Texas who lives in Colorado. I've got, a young lady from Peru. I've got a guy from the Dominican Republic. So we got a couple of different folks who went to my school who are on the team now. So we're kind of all spread out. But it's been working for us so far. Just meeting on Discord, communicating every day, and finding ways to get the job done. I wouldn't recommend. I don't think making a AAA game, which is what I do want to make. I'll get more into that later. AAA games.
What's AAA?
So AAA games are your big budget games.
Okay.
Those are your games that have like $2 million to $100 some odd million in budget behind them. Call of Duty's AAA, Madden's AAA, Batman's AAA. Those are your games that, when they come out, people going to go get them. Last of Us AAA, Spider-Man is AAA. And so those are your big budget games. And so that is the goal. I want to be a AAA studio, but I don't think making AAA games with 50 to 100 folks with $100 million in funding, spread apart, I don't think that works. So hopefully, the pandemic ends by the time we become AAA, stuff like that.
Most definitely. Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I want to get more into what would you tell our generation to really get them started on, start on their dreams and chasing that up, and getting more into what are some things that you did, to really push you to go ahead and start this thing going?
For sure.
So we'll be back. All right.
I need to know, where do you wanna go? 'Cause if you're down, then up we go. Make it lose control. 'Cause if you're down, 'cause if you're down, 'cause if you're down, I need one dance. Couple throw your hands in my hands. One more dance before I go. Higher powers taking a hold on me. I need one dance. Couple throw your hands in my hands. One more time before I go. Higher powers taking a hold on me. Couple throw your hands in my hands. One more time.
Came in that bit with a Glock, yo. Came in that bit with the mob, yo. This and I pop this some raw, 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 yo. Came in that bit with a Glock, ooh. Came in that bit with a Glock, yo. Came in that bit with a Glock, yo. Came in that bit with the mob, yo. Came in that bit with a Glock, yo. Came in that bit with the mob, ay. I put the lean in the rocks, ay. I put the crack in the jaw, yo. Put that little boy on the block, up in the trap in the spots, yo. I'ma go cook in the pot, I might go spit in the pot, yo. All of they better than one of a Cardi, good Cardi, he got a little guap. Cut a little bit in my loft, little bit lost in my loft. Count out 300 on boss, I spend a guap on my wall.
You know, let's say that's my nigga, I made him a million, now fuck it, we all rich. I ain't tryna have babies right now, so we fuck with a rubber, but I got a raw bitch. Know this money bring Evie, you probably won't beat me, but bro, we can't be by no small shit. Overseas got a crowd. Can't believe that I'm still in apartments. Businessman when they got me in office. $1 million deals, I get them often. $1 was serving. Hot legit, he gon' stay with the chopstick. I got raw, that shit made me a monster. His bitch, she noticed my sister, my mamas. Now they houses as big as they want them. I didn't run up no motherfucking commas. Look at Lil Donna. Race, I might come in first and second, but I won't ever be last. Lately, I've been in my bag. But told me don't take my foot off the gas. They give you an inch, gonna take you a mile. I'ma shoot by myself like a technical foul. City to city, got girls going wild. And I reach for my chain when I jump in the crowd. Lambo solo got a squad. We finally made it, let's pop us a bottle. I took the lead and let everyone follow. They know I'm running it right to the bank. They want me to ease up, I didn't leave them in the bleeding room. Sorry, I told them I can't. Heard you a rat, so you know what's gonna happen whenever we catch you. I run with them straight. We bought the moves, I I've been making. By the time I get 40, I gotta be one of them greats. Watch how I move with this paper. I know if I snoop on one time, they gon' try to come take it. Real as it getting, these niggas be faking. I don't want they bad, so they hand ain't shaking. She on that 42 straight with no chasing. I'm trying to get out of here and go taste it. Yeah, my diamonds be VV. They don't wanna see us on TV unless it's the news. I got something to prove. Yeah, I'm young, but got something to lose. In the street, I done paid all my dues. No extortion, ain't talking about lyrically. I be walking on beats, did you hear me? I just pray that my kids be a big of me. They can't get rid of me. My diamonds be VV. They don't wanna see us on TV unless it's the news. I got something.
Die for me, bitch, I'm perfect, yeah. Ride with me, bitch, you perfect. Ride with me, bitch, you perfect. Slide with me, bitch, you perfect. Die for me, bitch, I'm perfect. Lie for me, bitch, I'm perfect. Ride with me, bitch, you perfect. Slide with me, bitch, you perfect. Die for me, bitch, I'm perfect. Lie for me, bitch, I'm perfect. In the Brinks truck, I need more bucks. I need more sluts at the top floor. Every time I go in, I get hot more. I fuck bad bitches, she get sophomore. We was trapping while you was sophomores. Tryna make $1 out of nothing, make you hot, boy. Give me what you got, sell your way like we the yacht boys. Acting like our scores, niggas impostors. Ride with me, bitch, you perfect. Slide with me, bitch, you perfect. Die for me, bitch, I'm perfect. Lie for me, bitch, I'm perfect. Ride, bitch, you perfect. Slide with me, bitch, you perfect. Die for me, bitch, I'm perfect. Lie for me, bitch, I'm perfect. Yeah, bend the shit over twerking. Bend the shit over working. Bend the shit over jerking. Pray don't make me nervous. My bitch want that Birkin. Money don't make me nervous. I'ma get the bands and spend it. Looking like the check just landed. This ain't nothing new to me. Her tits out like Janet. You wouldn't understand it. The ones in the sentence. All up in them mouth like Dennis.
Welcome back, y'all. Once again, we here with Hugh, CEO of Game Shift. We left off at really asking you, a lot of people, started businesses in 2020, and you said y'all launched back in 2020. So I really want to know, like, what gave you that push, like, for 2020? Like, we had COVID, we had a lot of things going on. What really, like, gave you that push, or did y'all already have that selected time frame to launch?
So for me, my faith is the biggest thing for me. So shout out to my Lord and Savior. I got my dog tag here. It says "Man of God," and so 1 Timothy 6:11 says, "Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, perseverance, and gentleness." And so I try to live by that every day. And so for me, when I got out of school, constantly praying about the situation and wanting this to become a reality, and trying avenues like trying to get a job in the industry. And things like that, trying to create a better portfolio. And, finally, I just got a Jay-Z mindset of just trying to Rockefeller the whole thing and just trying to create my own, immediately instead of just, waiting. And so, the Bible says faith without works is dead. So I had to do things. I had to, put ads out on Craigslist and meet with folks. I had to go to conventions by myself and try to link with folks. And so, just constantly, trying to network and continue to work. Even when I was by myself, continue to work on my game, my idea, the name, the inspiration, how it's going to work. And I knew when I got more folks that more would come together, but I still had to do my part, all that I could do on my own. And so when 2020 came, that's when I finally, I got an opportunity to speak at the college I talked about, Capital Tech. Okay. The professor saw something in my resume he wanted me to speak at his class because I actually had a game design degree. Okay. So when I went up there to speak, I wanted to present my opportunity to, his folks, his students. And a lot of the students really, took to it. They really wanted to be a part of it. And so that was like the first time I was finally getting regular emails in my business account. This is 2020 when this happened. And I was finally meeting folks and, when people were joining the team. And that's when I knew, I said, it didn't matter to me that the pandemic was coming. I knew the Lord was telling me, it's happening now for a reason. And so, if it wasn't supposed to happen now, it wouldn't be happening now. So I knew that 2020 wasn't going to stop, this train from rolling. And so that's why I kept pursuing, and that's why we're still here today, because of my faith in the Lord. And I knew, when everything started to come together, I knew that's when I knew to keep going. It didn't matter what was happening.
Yo, I really want to piggyback off that because I did the same thing as well. And I feel like a lot of people really just 2020, yeah, it's a pandemic, but I feel like it really gave us, in my career, I couldn't have done it without the pandemic. I'm not going to hold you. It really gave me that push to really, really figure some things out because it really didn't hit home you really got to do this stuff yourself. Like you just said, you said faith without works is dead.
I'm dead.
Same thing, a man of my faith. And the thing was, I didn't take my profession as serious. I was waiting on a job. Like, all right, I'm not going to really do these things until the job comes. Waiting on a job to save me instead of God gave you everything. He gave us everything we need. We just got to go do it. And we sitting here waiting on the government. We waiting on this job. We waiting on a bunch of these things to go for us. But I really appreciate that. I want to piggyback off of that point right there. Like,
for sure.
A lot of things, we got to just do it ourselves and not really look at the negative or the outlook of things and really look at really what it means for us. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I want to piggyback off of something as well, because you also posted something on Instagram today that spoke out to me. And I feel like that message overall shows me, as not even just a woman, as a person, we like to control things and not remind ourselves that God really runs the whole show. And I just want you to get more in detail with that message, because it's really hard to understand that. People really want to control everything that's going on. So I just want you to tell the audience what you were, speaking about this morning. Was it this morning?
Yeah. Yes. So first of all, shout out to my mom. Hi, Mom. I love you, because she's the one that creates these thoughts for the days every day that I post on Instagram and Twitter, except for weekends. Mom. But yeah, so a lot of people think it's me, but it's actually Mom Dukes. But today's post was about control, and no matter what, God is always in control. When we forget that, people tend to panic. Like, people were tripping about the election, and they looking at me like, Hugh, you're not worried about what's going on? Like, no, because regardless of who's in office, Jesus is the end all be all for me. Like, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't really matter who's in office for me. Me per se.
We touched on that too. Thank you.
So, and when you, and I think I did that during the pandemic as well. Like, I know everybody's tripping about the pandemic. It's like, listen, God's going to get us through this. Not without loss, not without pain, but God's going to get us through this. So, the thing about, that post today is because the Bible in general, most folks are still trying to figure out what that's about. And the Bible is literally just God's relationship with man. And if you just examine yourself and examine mankind, examine the Bible, we're a mess. Myself included, human beings, we are a mess. We need God. And so that's why when people try to control everything, it doesn't work out the way they wanted to work out, or it causes unnecessary stress, because it's like you were not equipped to control everything. You weren't built to handle all that. That's why I'm here. That's why you need me. And when you try to do things outside the way, God is perfect, doesn't make mistakes. So when you do things the way he set it up, you don't run into all these unnecessary problems. But then when you try to do things the way you want to do it, it ain't gonna work out the way you wanted to work out. But then we blame God. My example for that is like, so you're younger, right?
Yeah.
Mom's in the kitchen cooking, and you headed that way, and Mom said, don't touch the stove, it's hot. And she go back to chilling, and you go back, and she go, do not touch the stove.
Yeah.
So the third time you going over there again, she sees you. She's like, you know what? Touch the stove. You touch the stove, you freak out. Would you blame your mom for what happened?
Nah.
Exactly. But yet we blame God.
Yeah.
When God does all he can to steer us in the right direction, we go over there anyway. He lets us go. It goes south, but we blame God. Why'd you let me well, that's the thing about control. He's in control.
And it's like easier to blame everyone else, but to hold accountability.
Exactly.
I do think that's the beautiful thing about life, though, as far as these lessons that we have. Like, okay, yeah, you didn't know that, but I appreciate the fact of understanding why. Now, that's not good for all lessons, but for some, when you can get out of those, I know why not to do that. That thing is hot. This is what heat does. You know what I'm saying? So the beautiful thing about life, and I believe life would be boring if everything was perfect. Like, if we had everything. So it is a way like, people get caught up into religion, but religion really is just man defining his relationship with God.
It's just an organization.
And yes, and I like how you explain that to people. It's a relationship. That's literally all it is. And once I broke that down to myself, I didn't catch on to that probably till like 2 years ago. And I was like, yo, this is really, it's like a father relationship. It's not, people get so caught up into the book and like this, like, no, like that's man defining God. Like this is the word, know this and translate that into your relationship. And that's really all it is.
Exactly, man. You know, I guess the last thing I'll say is, you know, it's just like you said, it's a relationship. And you know, people, I try to, when I talk to folks about God, and about Christ specifically, I want to say that. So I try to make it personal. That way they can better understand and relate. You know, like I use the parents example. Parents are a good example because all the traits your parents have come from God. But it's also the same within yourself. You know, when you make it personal, people can relate to it. So for example, it's like, you know, if you have, everybody seems to think that they can just do whatever they want and, you know, only talk to God when they're in the jam. And I said, if let's say you had a friend who was never there for you, never talked to you, never supported you, was never there when you needed them, but every time they need something from you, here they come knocking on the door. Would you talk to that person? Like, heck no. Then why the heck would God talk to you? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So like, and that's not, and I know it sounds harsh, but it's like if you're not praying and you're not reading the word, if you're not, you know, following the commandments the best you can, because none of us are perfect, but there's a difference between just doing whatever and actually, you know, trying. Then why would God talk to you?
Y'all heard that? That was some real.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Why would God talk to you, or why would He, you know, respond when you ready for Him to respond to help you out? It's the same thing.
That was the realest question I've heard probably my entire life. For real though.
Yeah, when you make it personal for people and for them to understand, that's when I think it really clicks for folks. So I try to do that.
No, that's definitely most. I think you should really check out. We had an artist called Justin on there. He made an album about that with 2020, like how God happened, like, you know, how he was really looking for God, and like you said, blaming all these things that was going on. You know, shout out Justin. You know, y'all ain't listened to that album yet. Better go do it. It's on iTunes. No excuses.
It's everywhere.
But yeah, like that's what he explained into his album. Like, yo, like, you know, God happened. Like these are the things that I was looking for in my relationship, and that's the beautiful thing about life. Like I love hearing those type of stories, you know, because it's real. You know, it's not, you know, everything's not perfect. This world isn't perfect, like you said. So definitely.
Before we get to the next question, because you did ask me what it also takes to, you know, to pursue your dreams.
Yes.
It takes, you know, having friends that inspire you. And so that was definitely something that lit the battery in my back when I was, you know, going through those 3 years of trying to, you know, come up against it. I have amazing friends in my circle, and most of them are entrepreneurs. I got my friend Sean. Shout out to Sean. He has his own clothing line called Be Safe, Be Dangerous, BSBD. And he's been doing that for about 3 or 4 years now. Really, really dope stuff. So I'm watching him. I got my friend Malik, who is the host of the Phase Off View podcast. He has his own podcast. He also makes handcrafted bracelets. I wish I had one on, called Color Power. You know, my friend Richie, he's an economist. Him and his brother, you know, they're in the real estate business. Right now he's doing his own podcast. He's got his own white paper book on, you know, the real estate problem right now that's out that you can go get, called, you know, it's on a company's called Plus Investment Technology. So just having those friends and just seeing how they were just, you know, even if they were starting on a small scale, just seeing how they were in motion of entrepreneur mode lit the battery in my back. And so definitely make sure you have people who inspire you, for sure.
Yeah. Even if it ain't friends, definitely pay attention to your circle. I think that's the main thing, like your inner circle and the company that you keep, because definitely even I noticed it as far as like, you don't want to go telling your plans and all your stuff out to just random people. They can definitely speak negativity into it, and really the circle really is the main thing for real.
Exactly.
They gotta inspire you. They can't be speaking.
Shout out to the risk takers. That's what we call ourselves.
Risk takers. I bang with that.
Risk takers. I definitely do bang with that as well. What is some advice that you would give to people watching, tuning in, and want to pursue the same career path that you're pursuing?
So, as far as video games, I think first thing you need to do is figure out what it is you want to do in video games, because video games is a very broad spectrum. And one of my favorite things about video games is that, you know, people's ignorance of it. What I mean is, like, when people ask me what I do or what this is, I tell them, I make video games. And like, that's a thing? Everyone thinks video games just fall out the sky. Like no, like people make these. Yeah. You know, your cousin plays Mario, doesn't play Mario out of nowhere. You know, somebody made Mario. So you got to figure out what you want to do in games. There's a lot of things. There's art, there's programming, there's sound, there's animation, there's rigging, and even within each thing, there's more things. Like within art, what kind of art? You can do 2D art, you can do concept art, you can do pixel art, you can do 3D, you can do graphic design art. I'm more of a graphic designer when I first started, and but now I'm on the business side. So there's that aspect of it. So figure out what part of gaming you want to do and what part you want to be a part of. Secondly, if you want to make your own game, got to figure out what type of game you want to make. You want it to be a small scale, simple game. There's nothing wrong with a simple game. A lot of simple games have been popular. Look at games like Flappy Bird. That's a very simple game, but that game was very popular for a long time. Temple Run is a very simple game. There's a lot of simple games. Do you want something that's you want a puzzle game? You want action, adventure? You want story? You want sports? Our game is a sports game. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. Okay. So you want to figure that out.
That violence sells a lot.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's just, I don't know. It just depends on
zombie killing.
I think it just depends on the overall point behind the game. Because like, I hate to say it because I was a big fan of it growing up, not so much now. Grand Theft Auto was one of those. It's one of those games. It's a staple, but when you think about the overall concept behind the game, it's really not. It's really just a bunch of random violence. It really is.
Stealing, robbing, all that.
All it is. It's not. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Grand Theft Auto. Like, I'm not getting anything out of this. Like, so, but yeah, that's more advice that I would give. You just gotta know what you want to do, how you want to do it, what platform you want to put it out on. Our game is more bigger scale. That's why I have a team of folks. So shout out to everybody working at Game Shift that's listening or that's going to see this. Appreciate all of you guys. And you just got to figure out what it is you want to do. There's a lot that you can do, and you just got to figure out every step at a time. You'll get there.
Most definitely. I definitely want to get into like the game. I know you can't discuss the release dates and stuff like that, but tell us about this game that you got.
So this game is called Check Up Top. And it's called Check Up Top because it's one-on-one basketball. And, what do you always do when you play one-on-one? You always check the ball up top. You start the game, you check up top. When there's a turnover, check up top. When there's a foul, you check up top. After someone scores, check up top. So that was like the perfect name behind this game because that's the concept. It's just one-on-one basketball. We're adding some other cooler elements to it, so it's not just straight. It is one-on-one basketball, but we're adding some like fighting elements to it. To make it
elements. Oh.
No, that sounds
so
lit.
The point is to make it more strategic. When you play a fighting game, you have to really know your character. You have to know your moves. You have to know your combos, and it helps to know, the other characters in the game. So, for example, like Smash Brothers, it helps if you ever play Smash Brothers. Yes, you have your main person that you play with. It helps to know all that person's moves. But what also helps is knowing what each and every other character in that game does as well to help you when you're fighting against them. And it also helps to know, like, because there's different fighting stages in that game. And each stage is something different. Exactly. So you got to know what to expect.
Which character, like long range, short range attacks.
Exactly.
And all right, if you're going to be in the air more, or if it's like more gaps, you might want to get Kirby. Kirby was just, that was my, just like, if you don't know, get Kirby. You can fly, move around, and you can take people's powers.
Exactly. And so that's the thing we want to add. We're adding to our game and make it more strategic so it's not a bunch of button mashing. And so the overall goal is to bring back a street ball feel, an old school street ball feel. And so the inspiration behind this game was, it was actually initially it started with Filet. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of Filet on Instagram. Nah. He's the guy. You've heard of Filet? So he's the guy on Instagram. He does like the funny basketball commentary. Filet. So I was like, yo, what if you could play that? But then, as I started thinking more, a lot of my friends complain about 2K. I don't want to, bash anybody, but a lot of my friends complain about 2K because it's like, oh my gosh, 2K, it does this. It's so annoying. And then it's like, then I'm like, yo, y'all complaining about this game. Like, why do y'all play this? Like, why, if y'all hate it so much, they're like, there's nothing else.
Who plays NBA Live? Come on now.
That's what I'm saying. So and people were like, there's nothing else to play. And I think what happened was there was Live, and Live was like the professional version. Yeah. You can play the Celtics versus the Lakers. Cool. 2K was supposed to be like the street ball version of Live. You know what I'm saying? It was supposed to be more fun. You can do 3-point contests, 2-point contests, the park, all this other stuff. And then eventually it became so popularized that it monopolized. So that's like, it's like the only, like my friend said, It's all we have. There's nothing else. And so I was like, okay, I can. What if we solve that problem? And so my goal is not to dethrone 2K. My goal is to provide an option for folks who
2K.
Yeah, not even just that. If you don't want to just continue to play, exactly. If you don't want to just continue to play regular 5-on-5 or the same thing all the time, or essentially the same game with a different number, then there is this option that has other things. And if you don't like our game, that's cool. And then you still have this to play.
Perfect example. I'm a football guy. I never really like basketball like that for real.
Me too.
Yo, when I got done playing Madden, NFL Street. That's what your joint sound like. I've been waiting to say it the whole time.
NBA Street.
NFL.
Like that.
Yeah.
NBA Street. But I'm not going to. This joint sound a little bit better though. But
nah, NBA Street from back in 2000.
I still play NBA Street. I got a P2 in the house.
NFL Street was NFL Street. You was throwing niggas on the ground. You had game
EA Sports
changer.
Street
You
is
got
the best.
Okay, but yeah, that's what your joint sound like. And
I'm a football guy, so I played football in college. But I was just really. For me, I want Game Street to be a place where you can, make games that we are inspired to make. If you ask me, we would just make all story-based action-adventure games because that's what I want to make. But I did want to make this, because I was inspired to make this, and I do believe in this game, and I do want it to have. We are gonna add some NBA Street elements to it. We're not trying to make NBA Street. That's one thing you want to avoid in video game business. When stuff exists, it exists. And you don't need to recreate anything that already exists. Like Mario already exists. You can't decide like, I'm gonna get this carpenter, and he's gonna be from Asia, and he's gonna jump all over the universe. Like that sounds like no, Mario exists. And so NBA Street exists. And so this is Check Up Top. And so we are gonna add some street ball elements to it from that game that gives you that type of feel, but we aren't making that. And so, but yeah, like that was the inspiration behind the game. And that's what we're working on right now.
Yo, it sounds like some prison ball type stuff, like off a longest yard. Like, you can dribble, throw the ball up, like elbow cuz in the chin or something. Like, that'd be sweet. Like a little.
Maybe not exactly like that. But, the overall, so when playing the game, we want you to be able to, break your opponent down. Like, and we wanted to, it is street ball in the sense of it's not NBA, but it's actual basketball. Like simple me versus you. And what I mean by that is like you may not be able to do all the cool, like the slip and slide, like on the old joints, but we give you the two essential moves in basketball. You got the between the legs and behind the back. It's the same thing with like fighting games. Like yes, you may know how to do like a toss or like a cool grab, but to know how to fight, you got to know how to punch and kick. Yeah. And you can mix it up however you want whenever you're combo. And the same thing with basketball. You can mix between the legs and behind the back in so many different ways. And so the goal is to be able to strategically figure out ways to get by your opponent and score more points. It's basketball. It's literally one-on-one basketball. So if you're like a real fan of basketball, you will appreciate this game because we're giving you that type of vibe, just classic one-on-one, me versus you, who can get to 11 or 21 or 15 first.
I definitely bang with that. Yo, that's definitely some new shit I ain't even heard of. Definitely doing your thing so far.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
I bang with it too. I want to get into the podcast, but I know we got to get into commercial break real quick, and then we're going to come right back.
For sure.
Press. Cardi don't need more press. Kill them all, put them to rest. Walk in bulletproof vest. Please tell me who she gon' check. Murder scene, Cardi made a mess. Pop up, guess who? Pop up, guess who? Ding dong. Must be that whip that I ordered. And a new crib for my daughter. You know a bad gon' spoil her. Got one in New York, need one in Georgia. New Bentley truck is a quarter. My money still long like weed. Still wet like Florida. Everyone drop on the floor. She was talking, but not anymore. Next to your face like contour. This shopper come straight from the York. Done with the talking, I'm up in the violence. Ask anybody, they know I'm about it. Hashtag whip back. Around, we gon' start a new challenge. I come in this guns and I'm strapped up and ready. Right on that like I'm Cardi and Andretti. Get your crib, but don't go to no telly. I sit on his face whenever I'm ready.
Girl, me want for you all, yo. Put me arms right around you. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get in my life. Girl, me want for just squeeze you. Put me things all around you. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get in my life. Me guide them jam, me no care. Me take it anytime, anywhere. In the square, so me no fear. Long as a woman, I will be there. Me want a girl, me can't wine for me. Me want a girl, me can't take care of me. Let me feel it, let me feel it. Oh, me have to really squeeze it. Girl, me want for you all, yo. Put me arms right around you. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get in my life. Y'all me just want to squeeze, yeah. Put me things all around, yeah. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get in my life. Oh Lord, like a fast bike on the road, boom, 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 boom. Girl, on the back and she a boom, 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 boom. Give me the bag of one, not the fat cum, cum, cum. Me the play last one time, it come to cum, cum. Me out of control. I'm more fire she want in her soul. She say more and more and still she grown. And still me multiply more. Girl, me want fi just hold ya. Put me arms right around ya. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get in my life. Girl, me want fi just squeeze ya. Put me arms right around ya. Girl, you give me the tightest hold me ever get in my life.
Coffee come in like a rapture, and everybody get captured. Play sleep up like helicopter, when them see the lyrics contractor. Coffee come in like a rapture, and everybody get captured. Play sleep up like helicopter, when them see the lyrical doctor. Coffee acting up the temperature for them see. Me know the man fi but friend me fi enemy. Yo, I first me see people there around me so plenty, but me pocket na empty. Me need space so large. If you see them a watch me to a clock now, must listen me a beating for lockdown.
Welcome back.
What's going on, y'all?
So I wanted to get into basically the podcast. You look like you was about to say something. Come on.
Nah,
man,
go ahead. Nah, y'all got it.
Look at you. Welcome back. It's Mishon CJ. Let's not forget my man CJ.
We back.
So I wanted to get into the podcast
Yes.
because I see that you post and you keep us informed every day, and I love the topics y'all talk about. So it's called the Faison View Podcast.
Yeah, so shout out to my guy Malik Faison. No, he started doing this, I want to say 2 years ago, 2018, and he was doing it by himself. And he would have guests every now and then. And 2020 was when I think, he had me on there. I think that might have been my second or third time on there.
Okay.
People really liked, him having me on there, so he wanted me to be a co-host. That's like my brother. I've known him since high school for like, I want to say 11, 12 years now, since 2009. That's about 11 years. So, so we're friends in real life. And so he wanted me to be his co-host. So, and we've been co-hosting since, I want to say late 2020, late 2020. But the Phase On View podcast is a podcast. You can follow us on IG at the Phase On View podcast, FAISON. And we talk about current events, sports. We talk a lot of hip hop. We're both hip hop heads, so we talk a lot of hip hop related stuff.
Okay.
Culture, things that have to do with our people in general, and entrepreneurship, and we constantly promote each other's brands. He promotes his pod, our pod, and he promotes me, he promotes himself, he promotes the rest of our friends' brands, and there's always a would you rather at the end. And so for example, I think the last week's was, would you rather be able to detect any lie or get away with any lie you told? And so that's what the podcast is. We talk about that. And we give our opinions on each thing, and figure it out.
I always do get away with any lie. I feel like I can detect people's lies. I'm a good reader of people, so
lies. It's like, nah, I don't know. I don't even like lying. Why? Why you do that? Why people do that? That's a good question. That's a great question, though.
Yeah, for me, I chose detect any lie because I'm about to go into the corporate world. I need to know. There's gonna be a lot of cap coming my way. I need to sniff that out.
Nah, I feel you.
Maybe because we good to having tough conversations on here. Maybe we can do a collab one day with them. Do a joint podcast.
Of course.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would love
I'll
that.
definitely talk to Malik. We shoot. We drop every Thursday at 5 p.m. So yeah, definitely check us out. You should be able to find us on YouTube easily. The Phase On View podcast. We on there. We've got over 100 episodes. We do like 2,000 views a week. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
Trying to grow. Trying to build.
Yes. Okay. So my question is, and this has nothing to do. Well, actually, it may have everything to do with everything you're doing. But my question is personally to you, and my question is, what do you believe your purpose is in life?
I think my purpose in life is to inspire and also be an example of to be the best example of righteousness that I can be. And I choose inspire because my background professionally is actually in kids. Kind of something I just fell into. Started off at the Sports and Learning Complex. If y'all ever know what that is,
yes,
it's over by the
grew
Facts
up
Field.
there.
We would have had camp last year, but hopefully summer come around, we'll be back at camp this year. But I started off there, and then eventually, I went into childcare, worked at this naval base. And I worked all the way in Southern Maryland. It was like an hour and 15 drive every day, but it was all I had at the time. I needed a better job, and so I worked the preschool wing. And that's when I kind of really figured it out, because that was like a whole testimony in itself. I don't want to get too in depth in it, but those kids saved my life, because I was in a dark place, and they, every day it forced me to, you don't want to bring that energy onto 3 and 4 and 5 year olds. They don't deserve it. And so it forced me to to toughen up and get through it. And even on my worst days, they were just, they treated me like a rock star, and they loved on me every day. That's probably the best birthday I had. They treated my birthday like a national holiday. They went home and told their parents, "Oh, it's Mr. Hughes' birthday. It's Mr." I was, at that time, I was kind of like, no, they kids. They just, how kids are. And I came in the next day. I was bombarded with so much art and just love and hugs.
Yeah.
And then more than I'm like, and they always do that, but it was like more than I'm used to. It was like, it was like a national holiday for them. And so, there was a particular little boy there named Drayden. At this point, he's like my little brother now. And so his family is great. Shout out to their family if they ever see this. At that time, he really needed me because, his dad was in the Army. His dad was at a different base in California, and he's only 3.
Yeah.
And, and he just, he needed a male figure in his life consistently. And since his dad came back, I don't want to make it seem like his dad's not his life. His dad's a great guy. Once his dad came back into Maryland, he's just been constantly just doing what he needs to do as a dad. But at the time, he just needed me. So even when I didn't want someone gravitating towards me, I was like a magnet. He couldn't help it. And so, I taught him how to potty train. I potty trained that kid at school because he didn't know how to use it at school. He would only use it at home.
Yeah.
Never potty trained a kid in my life, but I was like, listen, man, you're gonna be around me every day, and I got to be able to change your diaper. We're gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah.
So, we did that. I taught him how to do things by himself because he wasn't, he was so used to his sister doing everything for him. And I was like, you gotta learn to do this on your own. Open this up by yourself.
Yeah.
Take your own clothes off. So definitely shout out to that naval base. I think just seeing how much those kids, not just that kid, but all those kids needed me and those parents needed me. I was just like, wow, I just could not believe it. And now I'm at this alternative school called Annapolis Road Academy. I'm a paraprofessional. And so I do think that my role is to inspire, because I do it with my interns at GameStep as well. When they're down, and now I gotta, as the leader, I have to remind myself I gotta be upbeat, because they're gonna feed off of me. And when pressure hits us, I gotta make sure that I'm the one that stands tall during pressure, because pressure comes from the top. And I'm CEO, I'm at the top. So if I allow myself to succumb to the pressure, then it's gonna trickle down into everyone else. So, I'm constantly talking to them, but hey, listen, we're going to be all right. I know life might be kicking our butts right now, but it's all going to work out. Enjoy this process. Enjoy the journey. I'm constantly just speaking to them and pouring into them. So I think inspiration is probably the best way I could describe what my purpose is.
Yeah, that's definitely
That's
a
dope.
blessing, though. Like, being able to see the impact that you make, I know that's definitely a beautiful thing that I like, too. Like, when you can really see the impact that you make on somebody, a positive impact, not a negative one, but a positive joint, that really, like, it's something that you really, like you said, gravitate towards you, for real.
For sure, definitely.
You got any questions?
That's it for me, you know what I'm saying? Definitely tell the people, where they can follow you at, where they can.
I want to know if you got any questions, anything you want to ask us while we're here.
How did this come about?
Look, we both. Look.
Yeah, man.
Dang, did the people don't, do they even got our story, OG story yet?
Man, all I could say is I originally, CJ, I just want to tell you right now, I thank God for CJ, because CJ was the main person that showed effort in this. This was like an idea for me, because I wanted to do a magazine at first, and then I did a podcast. I was by myself, just like Malik. But then, like, eventually you reach out to people, and then there's going to be like a few people that come back to you with some sparks, some inspiration. I'm telling you, this man gave me so much life. I was like, damn, like, who the hell is this guy? For real.
Shout out to dope friends, man, for real.
No, for real. Like, and it's just people that lift you up as you go. And that's just what I'm thankful for. And that's what OG is about to me. Finding people, it don't matter if they're doing their own thing, got their own brand coming out, they're still going to lift you up on their way too.
I would definitely say for me around that time, definitely I was looking for 2020 really changed me a lot as far as like where I was going, looking for direction for real. I was moving out of an old identity and moving into a new one, and didn't really know which way to go. Literally my first time meeting Mishon was literally buying herbs. That was like, told her like my problems, what was going on in my relationship, and a whole bunch of things that was just life problems in general. But we was talking, she told me about the podcast she ran, and I really saw like, she was talking about topics that, that I be talking about. So I really supported that. I supported the meaning, OG, our generation, and then it took me back to a point of when I was rebranding myself. Like, I was really trying to see like, what God really had a way, which way did he want me to go? Because all the things, like you said, like we talked about earlier, all the ways that we normally think we want for us, or we define it, like God's like, nah, that's everything I did. I was failing at it. I'm not gonna hold you. Profession, failing at it. Like fraternity life, failing at it. Like, it was a whole bunch of just failures. And I'm like, at this point, I gave up. What do I want to do for real? And I'm like, I'm just gonna go wherever the wind push me. I said, I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do anything at all. I'm just gonna go with the wind. So when I met her, I'm like, this is cool. Started working, you know what I'm saying? Then we put some ideas out there. They had some real traction. People was liking it. We had some supporters. And when it came to equipment, we was just like, dang, that was gonna be another stumble like, equipment. But luckily we came across Plugged In Radio Network, and that really was like, we can really do a lot now. Like, and it could be something of our own. But just personally, I went back to changing my Instagram name. I changed a lot of things to really go back to when I was successful. And when I was successful, the highest I felt was in my entire life was graduating high school, and I got a scholarship to play football at Bowie State. And I really went back into that mentality of my football coach told me my junior year, he said, yo, you look the same as you came when you from middle school. And I felt disrespected. Yo, I was just like, yo, if I don't do nothing else, I said, yo, if I don't do nothing else, like, I hated that, man. I'm not going to hold you. I said, yo, like, I'm going to do this just to prove you wrong. I was in the weight room every day. I did everything. And then when the football season came, I said, look, I'm a linebacker. I don't care if I don't know how to drop back to coverage, make picks or whatever. I'm going to do the one thing I know how to do right, which was blitz. I literally blitzed my entire senior year, and it got me a scholarship. So I say I took that mentality of like, yo, I was trying to prove not him wrong. I wanted to prove it to myself for real. So that's why I went back. I actually changed my Instagram name back to what it was back in that time. And I went back to my original number, not a number that a fraternity gave me, but a number that really meant something to me, which was 11. That's like my favorite number. So I got back to the core of myself instead of losing myself into something else, into fraternity life, into what all these other things were. So OG was the place where this is what it's been for me. So, you know, as much as you say I've been there for you, OG has been that for me. It's a place where we can talk about our problems. We can talk about real issues no matter what, raw, uncut, and I can really be my core, authentic self. You know what I'm saying? And this is the direction I want to move in. So that's really, I can sum it up.
That's dope.
So that's really just what it is for me, for real.
And one thing I got to say about you, sir, we need people to follow you because the messages you be speaking, you know what I'm saying? You get people to really open up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I try.
People really got to think, you know, not just with you, with CJ too. Like, it takes a lot of intellectual men. It takes a lot of intellectualness to get men to speak about the things they'll speak about. Because it's not like no one's really thinking like that nowadays, especially for how young the both of y'all are.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of things. Honestly, with podcasts, a lot of things that really got this was, I don't know if you watch it, I Am Athlete podcast. That's like my favorite.
I've watched. I like watch clips here and there because I be watching like anime, other stuff. But like for sure, like I've heard.
But that's the thing. Like I just started watching it because the clips got me into it.
Yeah,
and the most
one I've seen.
Yeah, the most recent one that I seen was the one that Chad and Brandon Marshall, they was talking about like, yo, why can't black men, why can't we get it and talk about like, yo, just the clip, like you don't gotta watch it, but that clip got me like, yo, I need to see this. And it's like, dang, we don't have spaces like that to talk about this type of stuff. We don't have, especially as black men, we don't have spaces like this to talk about and to really get to issues for real. So that really that type of thing right there is really what's more like what we need for real.
And I'm not gonna lie, every guy that gets a chance to get on a platform, it's like they get that chance to say the dumbest shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you had a chance, 15 seconds at least. Come on, man, you gotta uplift and empower. But
one thing I'll say, man, that always helped me since I was in college, like that I've learned and I'm still learning. Your friends are watching, man. You will be surprised at who is watching.
Kids, everybody.
It's a lot of things that, you know, the way you live your life, you would think that, you know, just because they're your friends, they hang around you every day, that no one's really paying attention. But you'd be surprised just how much people are watching. Like, I used to be so preachy back in high school and college. Like, my nickname was Preacher Man. And you get tired of preaching because you don't want to be that guy. Like, I love Jesus, but no one wants to talk about Jesus all the time. And you don't want to be somebody no one wants to be around. So for me, it was about, you know, the best way that I can, you know, minister to somebody is just by the way I live my life. And you would be surprised at how many people are just are watching. And so that's just how I do it now. You know, if people want to know more about the Lord, I got no problem doing that. But for the most part, I just try to live the best way that I can and be an example like that. Your friends are watching.
Most definitely. The main thing, just do it. We're going to wrap it up today, man. Definitely appreciate you. Got to get you back. Tell them one last time where to follow you at so we can close out for the day.
What's up, y'all? Hugh Holmes Jr. You can follow me on Instagram at _HHJR. You can follow the brand Game Shift at We Are Game Shift on Instagram. We have hats for sale. No, this hat's for sale. We got 2 hats right here. They're $30 a piece. Come with a free wristband. Just DM the page. You can get you a hat. So you follow us at the Phase On View podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, and go check that out every Thursday at 5 p.m. Much love.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
everyone, be sure to tune in Friday for the full episode on YouTube. You will get the link. You will get the link to his merchandise, get the link to his Instagram, his all of his social media, so you can follow and keep up. And I want to just see what you got coming out in store. I can't wait to see these games, man.
I can't wait either. But this is the best part. The journey is the best part. We're gonna get there.
It is. I can't
great.
wait to see your Netflix documentary either. I can't wait.
All right, y'all already know where this is.
Yes,
OG
man.
Radio.
Thank you.
The OG Radio.
The radio station for our generation.
Shout out to
Thank
OG
you.
Radio.
Thank you. It's your girl, Mishon Lorraine.
CJ, and we'll see y'all next Monday.